Good morning and happy Memorial Day weekend, everyone. Hope to be outside today, but we had made like a quick thunderstorm run through, and it got all of my cushions on my outdoor furniture wet. And so we're inside today, but looks like it's brightening up a little bit out there, and I hope wherever you are enjoying your Memorial Day weekend. I'm Jenny Hensley, co-owner and effectiveness coach with Dynamics. Our goal is to help you reclaim your time so you can reclaim your life and absolutely love your work again. We come to you every Sunday at 10 a.m. so that you have the motivation to start your week off on a positive note. And our goal is to give you tips to hashtag stop bad meetings. And the one we're working on today is hashtag reclaim your life. So really excited about today's topic, although I realized literally in the middle of the live stream last week that I should have done this topic first, because today's topic is dump the junk, clean out everything that you possibly can clean out in your house, in your life, in your office, in your car, and then organize. Because last week I talked about organizing, and this week I am talking about cleaning out. But if you don't clean out first, then you're just basically reshuffling and reorganizing the junk, much you might not really actually need in your lives. So, had a challenge last week, and I'm hoping some of you tried it, and just to prove that I did do the challenge. The challenge was to clean out one teeny tiny area, whether it's a desk drawer or a drawer in your room, or Luna is on fire today, or you're just going to hear her in the background. I think she is trying to tear apart my yoga mat right now. So I may have to go get her in a second. So anyway, the goal was to clean out one thing, and if you were able to do that, give me a thumbs up, and I would love it if you would share those things. And I chose Luna. Probably gonna have to run after her, let's be honest. Just a second. A toy was out of reach, so we're gonna settle. Here we are. I think she really just wants to be on camera, let's be honest. Okay, so back to our challenge. I chose to clean out my spice rack because it was driving me absolutely insane every day. I love to cook, and every time I tried to find a spice, I couldn't find it. And got hairy. And so I cleaned out the entire rack. First of all, I threw away a ton of stuff that I didn't use or that was old or out of date. And then I set everything out on the counter, cleaned out all the drawers, and then reorganized. And I'm very, very excited about it. So, again, I hope you guys were able to do that challenge. The whole point of both these days is that outer order, which we obviously don't have in my house today. Outer order leads to inner calm. So when you open up a door or a drawer, or I shared with you last weekend, I opened a cabinet and stuff fell out on me, that adds stress, that adds anxiety, that adds something to your mind that you need to do at some point and you need to deal with. And it's just something that's constantly going on and on. So cleaning out and then organizing, those two steps are really, really important to keep you happy and anxiety free. Now, when you're talking about cleaning out, you can't do it without talking about Marie Kondo. Marie Kondo has become a verb. Her idea of tidying up and cleaning out and organizing has become so popular that people are saying, well, I Marie Kondoed my spice drawer, or I Marie Kondoed my closet. I read this book when it first came out, or when it first became really popular in America, and I can't tell you how helpful it was to just read and see something from a totally different perspective. And I think that's why it resonates with people so much, because her ideas and ways, the advice she gives is much, much different than the ones you hear all the time. So let's take a look at, first of all, I want to talk about the excuses that we use not to clean things out. And these are some that I found when I was reading through and looking at Gretchen Rubin's work, the Happiness Project, and Better Than Before. She has a list that I will share of articles that deal on these subjects, and they're just amazing, and they're super short, and they've got great tips. But the excuses that you give for not throwing things away are, I don't know what I'll do with it. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. So I've cleaned out all this stuff, and then I've got a pile of stuff that now I have to deal with. I'll share a tip for that when we talk about tips. You think, this is my classic, I might possibly need this thing someday. Now, I might possibly need neon green shoes someday. So I better not throw them out, because I may someday, even though I never have in the past, get an outfit that will match them. That's just an example for me. This one, the truth is, if I have that excuse, I may give that, whatever it is, if it's a pair of shoes, another shot, like another 3 months. And then when I am cleaning out again, if I'm dealing with those neon green shoes again, they go. So also, if you're using this excuse, I might possibly need it someday, and you haven't worn it in over 6 months or a year, we've been through all the seasons, and you haven't used it or worn it or needed it, then you probably aren't going to need it. You may say it's a momentum. Oh, this t-shirt is so important to me because, and so you can't throw it out. I want you to ask yourself, is that really true about the t-shirt or whatever it is? Or is it just that memory helps you, because maybe you have something else for that memory, like pictures that you have or other things that remind you of that, and maybe you can let it go. Now, with this one, I do have a few things that are mementos. I have, my dad is no longer with us, and I am lucky enough to have a hat of his, a golf hat from when he got one of his hole-in-ones, and so that means everything to me, and I'm never ever going to throw that out. That's a once-in-a-lifetime momentum. That's a reason to hold on to something. If you have 100 things you're holding on to, then maybe you better examine them again. Also, this is another classic. I need to go and buy some organizers in order to throw things out. So in order to get organized, I need to go buy something. I need to go buy tubs. I need to go buy organizers. Really what you're doing then is just creating more junk. So I'm not saying you never buy new organizers, but the first thing you need to do is clean things out and then start organizing. And then you find out, for example, with my spice drawer, I spent like a couple days, not full days obviously, thinking about and looking around for spice organizers that would go within that drawer. And then it hit me that I had some kind of tacky drawer liners that held already in the basement, and I wasn't using them, and so I cut them to fit, and I didn't need to buy anything at all. So you don't need to buy anything. Try to let go of these excuses and actually clean things out. So here are my suggestions for dumping the junk. First of all, the first one is very similar. I'm trying to make this a little bit bigger. The first one is very similar to last week. You need to decide on your style and what works for you. We talked about marathoners and sprinters last week. Marathoners do small, attainable goals, a little bit at a time. We use the idea of every time you get a reminder on your Fitbit or your phone, you get up and clean one thing out. And then sprinters like to do one big project all at once, so they feel like they've accomplished something. So you may set aside a day. Same thing is true with cleaning out as it is with dumping the junk and getting rid of things. This one came from Marie Kondo, and she said there's two parts to getting organized, and it's discard and decide. So getting rid of things and then deciding what you're going to do with the things you getting rid of, and the things that you're going to keep. So I do a method that I have done for a really, really long time, which is I clean things out and I have an absolute keep. I have an absolute needs to go. And then I have a middle pile that's a maybe. So the absolute keeps and the absolute goes are pretty easy. The maybes are the ones that you're kind of sitting around thinking, I'm not sure about this. So I do all of those. So then I end up with 3 piles. And then I go to the maybes. And then I go to this next one, which people make fun of, but I'm telling you, it really works. So Marie Kondo advocates that you have to ask yourself, you have to hold in your hand every single item, and you have to say, does this speak to my heart? Does this bring me joy? And it sounds a little bit corny, but I am telling you, it absolutely works. Like when I'm cleaning out, and I keep using clothes because it seems like, especially for women, we get all these clothes, and then you're overwhelmed with, your drawers are completely stuffed, your closet's completely stuffed, and it's just overwhelming. And then when you go to clean out, you use the example, well, I might need to wear these neon shoes someday. So I hold the neon shoes, and I'm like, do these bring me joy? And I think, no, they don't. Every time I look at them, I think, I've never worn these. They need to go. Also, it's if you look at the principle, the 80-20 principle, which is, it fits all kinds of things. But for example, it fits your clothes. We wear 20% of the clothes that we own. So think about that. You think about your favorite things, and I can tell you, like, I'll touch something and I won't like the feel of the fabric, and even though it's the cutest shirt in the world, I will not wear it. So I don't know why I bought it, and I don't know why I'm keeping it. And so you have to think to yourself, does it bring me joy in terms of, like, what are my absolute favorite things? And I'm going to tell you, it's not easy. I have been through these major clean outs of my closet in particular, 2 or 3 times, and then now I do it regularly, at least twice a year. And the interesting thing is, when you remove all the clutter and you only have things that you love, it's super easy to find outfits. It's super easy to get dressed. It saves you time. It saves you stress. And then after I cleaned out the last time, I made a rule for myself that I can't buy anything else, another piece of clothing, unless I get rid of a piece of clothing. So now we have this huge debate before I buy something. We being me and the dogs, I guess. What do I feel about this? Like, what thing do I like least in my closet? Am I willing to give this up in order to buy this? So I just think that really, really works. And there is something so, so satisfying to having a space. Like, so not opening every drawer and it being stuffed full, but opening it and it looks orderly. It calms you down. That goes back to the whole reason we're doing these. It makes you feel better. You can find things, and it really, really is worth doing. So I'm going to ask you, just like I did last week, to please try cleaning out one thing. Maybe with Memorial Day weekend, it's your garage. Maybe it's your closet. Maybe it's a drawer. And to get rid of some things. Make those 3 piles, and the get rid of pile, donate anything that you can, and get rid of the things that you cannot donate. Don't hesitate to get rid of things that are of no value to you or anyone else. So I hope you try these things, and these 2 videos together in reverse order. So this one and then the one last week about organizing, I think can really help you get this feeling of being more organized, being more calm, and really just enjoying your environment and getting rid of some of that mental garbage that you're carrying around, of things that you're worrying about that you need to do. Oh, someday I'm going to clean that out. Just do it. So try one thing this week, and I would love it if you would share. It really, really helps us if you like, share, and comment. And I want to share with you that we're going to have a big kickoff next week. It's going to be the self-care summer. So talking about all of the different things, readings, techniques, all kinds of things that you can do to reclaim your life, enjoy every single minute of your life, and just be happier. As I always tell you, if you are lucky enough to have today, and if you're really lucky and you also have tomorrow off, please, please enjoy it. Do something that brings you joy. Spend time with the people that you love, and just have an absolutely wonderful Memorial Day weekend. Thanks, everybody.